My name is Sarah Breti, and I did my environmental meme on climate change. What is climate change? Climate change is a broad term used to refer to changes in the Earth's climate at local, regional, or global scales and can also refer to the effects of these changes. In recent decades, the term climate change is most often used to describe changes in the Earth's climate driven primarily by human activity since the pre industrial period. Climate change versus global warming. Although climate change and global warming are related, they are not interchangeable and should not be substituted for one another. Global warming is the recent and ongoing rise in global average temperature near the Earth's surface, caused by mostly increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Climate change is any significant change in the measures of climate lasting for an extended period, which is saying changes in temperature, precipitation, or wind patterns, among other effects that occur over several decades or longer. When and where did it start? Changes in the climate have been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. Until recent centuries, most of these changes were naturally occurring. Starting with the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century until today, changes in the climate have been mainly the results of human activity. Climate change becomes an issue. Scientists attribute the global warming trend observed since the mid 20th century to the human expansion of the greenhouse effects, meaning warming that results when the atmosphere traps heat radiating from Earth towards space. Over the past 800,000 years, carbon dioxide and surface temperatures on Earth have had natural variability, yet still remained at pattern and reliable levels. Mostly due to large scale human fossil fuel use, atmospheric CO2 levels have surpassed historic levels, exceeding 400 parts per million. Because CO2 levels and temperature correlate, our world is already increasingly warmer, which is then escalating global hurricanes, floods, heat waves, droughts, coral bleaching, ocean acidification, and forest fires. Impacts of climate change. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes are breaking up earlier, increased heat, changes in precipitation, more droughts and insect outbreaks, and wildfires. Future effects: temperatures will continue to rise, frost-free season and growing season will lengthen, changes in precipitation patterns, more droughts and heat waves, and hurricanes will become stronger and more intense. What can we do? A few small changes can make an impact daily to reduce climate change. Walk or bike instead of driving, limit your consumption, reduce, reuse, recycle, and consider buying secondhand items when you need something or borrowing items. Reduce your food waste, use less energy at home, such as reducing your heat when you're not at home, turn off your air conditioning when you don't need it, and hang clothes to dry instead of using your dryer. This is my meme. I base it off of out of Memphis, Tennessee, due to them having an extreme snowstorm a few weeks ago, and they haven't had snow in many, many years, and they were not exactly prepared for it. And many went without power for a few days, and some had their water shut off on them. And it's just a comparison from October 2020 to February 18th. And it's just showing it's saying keep calm, climate change is real. There's some other memes that I added into here. No such thing as climate change. Oh, good. And there's a polar bear struggling to stay on a piece of ice that's melting. Greenhouse gas everywhere. And that look you get when people deny climate change. My curriculum connection would be great for the habitats and communities. Investigate the interdependence of plants and animals, including humans, within habitats and communities. Indicators and outcomes would be categorize human activities by the effects they have or may have on habitats and communities. Assess intended and unintended consequences of natural and human caused changes to specific habitats. And my activity would be the climate change activity, visualizing climate change. And it would just show the students the different outcomes between melting land and sea ice. I would ask the students first what they think will happen when the ice starts to melt. and if or why there would be a different melting speed between the land and sea ice. And then this is just the supplies you need. And then the activity is just to get 2 tubs of water with blue food coloring, fill them up at the same kind of level. One has a little bit more, and then you just basically watch the ice melt and see which one it affects the most. So this is what it would look like, and you just observe the changes as the ice cubes melt and discuss the changes that occur compared to what the class predicted. Question why, if there was any changes, why there were changes, and why they thought that would happen. My reason for this activity would to help show the kids an easier way to understand climate change, as sometimes it's not an easy thing to wrap your head around. And it would show the effects of the land ice, how it melted faster compared to the sea ice, and the effects this could cause not only on people but to animals in the land around us as well. On the right, you can see the picture and how the land ice changed more and it melted more compared to the sea ice. And it's just to show the effects that do happen in our world. And then these are my resources.